In early 2024, Leah and I were invited to serve on the Louisiana church planting lead team with the Assemblies of God. The goal of this team is bold, to see 300 strong and healthy churches planted across Louisiana. At our first meeting, the superintendent placed a map on the table. The black areas represented communities that do not have a life-giving Assemblies of God church. And one of those communities jumped off the page to me. Here was one of the fastest growing areas in our state, and yet there was no life-giving church there. For weeks, I could not shake it. I remember driving with Leah and asking, what would it look like for Church on a Mission to plant a second campus in that community? And something shifted.
So when Ryan asked me this question, I immediately was like, no. And a lot of it was because I lacked faith, but I always knew God provided for Church on a Mission. After the last 10 years, He has always provided. And what was even more crazier is that when we passed that community all the time with no thoughts, but all of a sudden our hearts, my heart started burning for people there, for the lost, the families, the kids, the future. And we both knew God was stirring something.
A few weeks later, we were at a pastor's conference. A speaker from South Dakota was talking about the boldness it takes to plant life-giving churches in communities that don't have them. He was echoing the heart of Paul, who said in Romans 15:20, I make it my greatest ambition to preach the gospel, not where Christ has already been named. And he brings up the same map that we had seen, talking about all these communities in Louisiana that don't have a life-giving Assemblies of God church. Then the pastor said something that stopped me in my tracks. He said, some of you are here tonight, and God just started breaking your heart for one of these communities in black that you drive by regularly. In that moment, I knew that was us. And I went to the altar and I began praying, how God, who God, when God, whatever all this is, I will do it and I will trust you. And ever since that moment, God has been confirming over and over and over again that this is the next step for Church on a Mission.
That's why today we are so excited to make the biggest announcement in the history of our church. In 2027, we will be launching Church on a Mission, Gonzales.
Let's go.
This will make us one church in 2 locations. And here's what you need to know. We are not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
New Orleans will remain our broadcast campus, but Gonzales will have its own campus pastors with its own live worship, and when it's time for the message, it will be streamed from our NOLA campus.
Gonzales is a growing community, nearly 14,000 people, and it sits in Ascension Parish, one of the fastest growing areas in Louisiana. That means more families, more kids, more people who need a church to call home, more people who need to see life change through Christ. And we believe God has chosen Church on a Mission for such a time as this to be a part of that story. That's why today we want to introduce you to the new campus pastors of Church on a Mission, Gonzales, who just started training.
Hey, Church on a Mission family. My name is Derek, and this is my wife, Valerie. We just want to share our excitement and a little of our story as we step into this new season as campus pastors. Back in October of 2024, we were invited to a staff retreat, which was interesting because we weren't staff yet. Valerie was leading the capture team, and I was one of the safety leads. So when we were invited, we kept asking, why are we invited? What is this about? We honestly had no idea.
I'll never forget being in the car with Pastors Ryan and Leah when they started sharing their vision about going multi-campus. Then Pastor Ryan looks at us and goes, we want you guys to be the campus pastors there. My heart dropped, my eyes widened, and I'm pretty sure my face said, huh? It completely caught us off guard. But almost immediately, I knew this is why God had placed it so heavily on our hearts to come back to Louisiana. I always felt God had called us here for a reason, and suddenly it made sense.
What's crazy is that right before that conversation, we had just been asked to come on staff, and we said yes. And then they immediately brought up the Gonzales campus. And honestly, I laughed inside a little bit because just a couple of weeks earlier, I had prayed a simple but serious prayer. I asked God to use me more. I told him that whatever he asked, I would follow, even if it cost me everything. So when Pastor Ryan said, this is going to cost you everything, it's going to take everything, I knew this was God answering that prayer. Val and I took a few days to seek the Lord about this and felt so strongly that this is exactly what God wanted us to do.
The biggest word I can think of is humbling. We believe so deeply in what God is doing at Church on a Mission. We can't even wrap our minds around the fact that ordinary people like us are being trusted with something like this. Our relationship with God has deepened. We've grown together in the process, and we are just so grateful. It's an incredible honor to say yes to something that has the potential to bring more people to Jesus and see lives changed by the power of the Holy Spirit.
We are so excited for what God is going to do through the Gonzales campus. Thank you, Pastors Ryan and Leah, for trusting us. Thank you for praying for us, and thank you for walking this journey with us. We can't wait to see what God does next.
Derek and Val are going to do a tremendous job,
they are.
and they have already started ministry school and training to do what God has called them to do here at Church on a Mission.
As a part of our Kingdom Builders initiative, our local expansion goal is $50,000 to help launch Church on a Mission Gonzales. And here's the miracle. When we give that $50,000, the Louisiana District and the Assemblies of God will match it, turning it into $150,000 to help this new church get off the ground.
Come on, $150,000.
Yeah.
They match that for us. All we have to do is raise $50,000. We can go plant another church in Gonzales. And listen, this has always been the heart of God for us.
Yeah.
I know that because I once said we will never be a multi-campus church. And listen, you never tell God never.
Yeah.
Yet the vision God gave us from the very beginning in year one was a vision statement that says we exist to create a movement.
Yeah.
A movement doesn't just stay in one place, it spreads.
Yeah.
And Church on a Mission is becoming a movement because when we build the kingdom together, the gospel goes further, more people find Jesus, and lives are changed forever. That's what it means to be a kingdom builder.
Yeah.
So church, let's cultivate a spirit of generosity in our church. Let's prepare our provisions, for God has called Church on a Mission for such a time as this to create a movement of people driven to live a Jesus first life.